Hello and welcome back to Solid. My name is Jake. Thank you guys very much for joining me. I guess welcome back. If this isn't your first time, welcome back. If this is your first time, sup? This is Solid, and I'm going to talk about the Battlehawks. Today we got a ReKAWp of Week 2. We got a bird's eye preview for the Week 3 game against the San Antonio Brahmas. We got a lot. We got a lot to cover. Just real quick, right off the bat, if you're watching this and you wanted to listen to it, that's an option. You can do that. I got an Apple and a Spotify if you want to do that. If you're listening to this and you want to watch it, I got good news for you because you could do that because I got a YouTube as well. So look for that on both those things. If you got a hankering to do the other thing that you're not doing, if you're listening, want to watch, if you're watching, want to listen, I got you covered, big dog. That's what I'm here for. But let's get into this to this ReKAWp from the Battlehawks Week 2 game where they beat the Arlington Renegades. What was it, 27-24? It was a home opener last Saturday. I said it at the beginning of I said it at the preview for that game, that if the Battlehawks didn't start strong, I'm not going to have faith that they will, and I'm going to stand to that. They did win the game, and everything really did get going and cooking, but they did not start strong. They did not start fast, and I blame coaching. I blame coaching for that one. I blame Anthony Becht and Bruce Gradkowski for not getting the offense where it needed to be to get that game going, and I think there might be like some fundamental differences in their game planning. I don't think everybody's on the same page. Few reasons why. Proof-wise, there was a play. It was a little bit later on in the game. This doesn't necessarily not an example of it happening right off the bat. But there was a play later on in the game, maybe like third quarter or something like that, where A.J. McCarron like kind of called his own play in a way. Bruce Gradkowski called in the play. AJ did that, then he threw a can and then a different play. So that means that if he didn't like what he was seeing, he could can that play and then go to the different play. And then they did that play. AJ did in fact can the play and they went to a different one, and it showed Anthony Becht on the sideline go, "Oh, he changed it. You know he's going to change it." So I think there might be some fundamental differences between what Anthony Becht wants and what Bruce Gradkowski wants and what A.J. McCarron wants. And if that's the case, and they're game planning and they're setting up these scripted plays for the beginning of the game, I'm going to continue to think that they're not necessarily going to start strong or fast in any way, shape, or form. Welcome Week 2, second play of the game. We now find out that it is called chaos. We find out that was what Bruce Gradkowski's grand play is chaos. Of course, I'm referring to the play where he lined up his offensive tackles out wide to help block for a screen that absolutely didn't work. And my God, it was such a bad look on multiple fronts. Number one, the play. On the field, the play looked like shit. It didn't work. It was brutal. But then also the camera cut to Bruce Gradkowski when he was up in the booth. And God, he needs new lighting. He needs a new outfit. He needs to move the camera because he looked like a pudgy schlub. Like he just looked like some chunky not fat guy, but pudgy guy up and as I'm that. I know what I am. I'm also that. And I know Bruce Gradkowski was a professional athlete at one point. And I know that he's not that. So to know that he's not that, but the camera and the lighting and everything makes him look like that, it's such a bad look. And then to add on to that, the cockiness that he said, "Run chaos, run chaos, run chaos." He was standing there with his arms crossed. He's like, "Yeah, this is the shit that's going to get him. I got him now." And then it just didn't work. It was such a bad look. And they kept cutting to Bruce Gradkowski the entire game. I was like, what the? Ugh. If he goes back and watches the broadcast, he's gonna be like, I gotta change it up. I can't be doing that because he looked bad. He looked bad, and to just know that he doesn't actually look like that, it's brutal. But that play didn't work, and they started off slow, and it was just a whole bunch of shit. But it's kind of the way I want to do these ReKAWps, kind of go position by position, see what they had going on. Starting with A.J. McCarron, I thought he had a pretty good game. It wasn't stellar. He had some missed throws, but a lot of the incompletions were dropped balls. When he was getting pressured in the backfield, when he was taking some sacks and hits and stuff, he wasn't doing anything dumb with the ball. He never really has done anything dumb with the ball like that. I know he's actually been strip sacked a couple times, but he had good ball security and stuff like that. So I liked the way that he played. And then on top of that, he actually got some run blocking in too. There was a Mateo Durant run where AJ McCarron like ran out in front of him. He absolutely whiffed on the block, but you like seeing that he's going to do that. So that was good. What was his final stat line? What did that end up being? If I could pull that up. His final stat line ended up being 19 for 29 for 248 yards and 2 touchdowns, completion percentage of 66%. So, I mean, it's good. It's good. He got the job done. It started awful late in the game, started in the second quarter, which you absolutely hate to see. So, right now, we're looking at the Battlehawks offense playing a total of 4 quarters in 2 games, which is not good because in that week 1 game, they really didn't get started until the fourth quarter. So, not great. As far as running backs go, Mateo Durant played better than I thought. He played better than I thought. So full transparency, our seats we were in right next to the broadcast booth in the 300 level. So it's great seats. But when Mateo Durant was like running and everything, I wasn't paying attention to him. There was like I was looking at other people on the field, seeing what they were doing, and I feel like that's justified because why would anybody pay attention to Mateo Durant? Like the guy didn't play well last year. He didn't even dress for week 1, and then he comes in week 2 and runs for 104. Like that's great. Like I feel like I'm justified for not paying attention to Mateo Durant at the time. But going back and watching it, he was playing like it wasn't just like lucking into some runs or anything. Like he was being shifty. He was breaking some tackles. He did get good blocks, and I'll get to that. But he played well. He played really well. I think that was a very much deserved 104-yard game. He knocked it out of the park on that one. As far as the other running back, it goes, what was it? Wayne Gallman was the other running back who improved, I believe, at least in my eyes, from the week 1 game. In the week 1 game, you could, if you wanted to convince me that he was being paid to avoid being in pass protection, I'd believe you. But in this game, he actually did have a pretty good rep on pass pro. There's a guy coming unblocked straight down the middle, and Wayne Gallman stepped up and popped him. And it ended up being one of the big completions that AJ had. I don't know if it was necessarily the 53-yard touchdown to Marcel the Shell with shoes on, but I think it was something big, and it wasn't. He didn't like stick the guy and continue to block him, but he stuck him and slowed him down enough time for AJ to get the ball out. So I love that. And Mateo Durant was pretty good in pass protection too. He was, whether it was being that personal protector or whether he was actually going up to the line and being aggressive with his pass blocking, he played much bigger than he is. So that was really good to see, and especially coming from a guy who again did not even dress for week 1. It's crazy. He played really well. I was very happy with that. As far as wide receivers go, the game, I don't want to say it was won on their hands because Mateo Durant did play a massive part of it, but Darius Shepard knocked it out of the park again. He's just good. When he's in space, he's just good. Like I said, Marcel the Shell with shoes on. 4 catches for 114 yards. Hakeem Butler with another quiet day. Sure seems a lot like they're just trying to use Hakeem Butler in swing passes, doesn't it? Seems like they're trying to get Hakeem Butler the ball behind the line of scrimmage. And when they use him well, they use him great. There was a 4th and 2 where they threw it to Hakeem Butler. Great big guy, makes a big catch on a short play, get you a first down on 4th down. Mwah. That's how you should use Hakeem Butler. If you want to throw it to him when he's got a couple guys in coverage on him, perfect use for him. Perfect. Throwing to him on a swing pass or a screen behind the line of scrimmage. Nope. That's dumb. Let's just not do that anymore. The screen game and the swing pass game is just, it ain't working unless it's being thrown to Darius Shepard. And I know you can't only do those plays to one specific player or have one specific player have that one role. But damn it, man, I would like to see them not throw to their tight end, to their 6'6" wide receiver behind the line of scrimmage. Because, yeah, he can break tackles when he's moving, but when he's just getting stuck, ugh. It's just brutal to see. Like you got the Blake Jackson, you got the Jamarcus Bradley, who I'm not a big fan of. You got Darius Shepard. Let's use those guys, do what we could do with them, and maybe when we get Ja'Cory Pearson back, if big fingers crossed, if we get Ja'Cory Pearson back, who still I ought to look that up, is on the IR, that's going to be killer for that as well. But let's not do Hakeem Butler behind the line of scrimmage. Let's not do that. Let's make a blood pact. Let's all cut our hands right now. I don't have a knife next to me, but I would do it. If I had a knife next to me, listen, I'm a man of my word. I've drank my own piss before. Nobody asked for me to do it, but I made a bet with myself and I drank my own piss. If I had a knife next to me, I'd cut my hand and touch it to the camera so we could do a blood pact. That's what I would do for you people, if that meant that we stopped having big, like, Hakeem Butler get the ball behind the line of scrimmage. What this just means is that Hakeem Butler is going to get a ball behind the line of scrimmage this week, and he's going to score. I'm well aware of what I just did. Anyway, so that's the wide receivers, that's the running back, quarterback, offensive line. They played well. They played fine. I'm gonna say they played fine. They played fine. They still did let up like 3 sacks, a handful of tackles for a loss. AJ McCarron, I think he might kill his offensive line. I know I keep saying that, but I think that's because I think it's gonna happen. That's just because I think it's gonna happen. Like there was one play, Mike Panashuk, the center, actually held the guy as he was coming through the line. Actually held him, got a holding penalty, and the guy still sacked AJ McCarron. And AJ McCarron just lets out a big "what the fuck," which I love, and that made me so thankful that AJ McCarron is not racist. And you shouldn't be I'm not saying him, like, you get what I mean, but like. Thank you to everybody that raised A.J. McCarron. Thank you to the community that he grew up in. Thank you for not letting him be a racist. Because if he's got so many hot mic moments where he's just dog cussing his offensive line that if he let out a racial slur, it would be real bad. Racial slur is never good, but it would be real bad coming out of his southern mouth. Like that would be, thank you, AJ, for not being a racist. Number one, thank you for not being a racist. But number two, thank you for not being a racist and making you a bad, making you a bad guy. You would be a bad. You guys get what I mean by this, right? Like I'm talking myself in a hole here. Hey, AJ, slur free, buddy. Keep going on that. Okay, so that's that. Was there anything else that I had about the offense in this game? Man, Marcel Aitman, I like him. Oh, that's what I was talking about. The offensive line. That's what I was talking about. Jawan Bushell-Beatty, right tackle, much better in when he's out in space and when he can be moving. Not much of a strong power guy when he's trying to put a hole in the line or something like that. But he had a really good rep. If I'm gonna dog on somebody for doing bad when they're doing bad, I'm gonna give them their kudos when they deserve it. Jawan Bushell-Beatty on Mateo Durant's 41-yard run had an amazing block to help get that hole open. He hit the guy, rode him to the ground. He was moving. He pulled and he was moving. But man, that was a good block. Good when he's in that situation, when he can get downfield and he's blocking some smaller guys. When he's blocking smaller guys, when the bigger guy is blocking smaller guys, he does good. When it's somebody, I'm not going to go negative on him. He had good reps, and the offensive line played well. They allowed AJ to do what AJ did, and that was sling the ball. They allowed Mateo Durant to run the ball. They had a good game. The talent level they were playing against, lackluster, not going to be negative. They had a good game. So that is the offense with the ReKAWp. The defense. We got a problem on defense. Specifically in the defensive backfield. I like Ben DeLuca, and I like Brandon Sebastian. And that's kind of it. That Chris Peyton Jones, all right, I can be in on him. But for some reason, they are rotating in a cornerback by the name of what's his name? Channing Stribling, number 14. And guys, he stinks. He he's really bad. There's a handful of games or a handful of plays every game that you're like, okay, that's a swing play. That's a swing play. These are big pivotal plays in the game. One of them obviously was the phantom defensive pass interference on Brandon Sebastian in the end zone. That was real dumb. That was a swing play. Kept the Renegades drive alive. And they ended up scoring on that. But there were 5 other ones. There were 5 other ones on Channing Stribling were big pivotal plays. On the Renegades' first drive downfield, I think they might have ran the ball twice, but I think they had 4 passing plays. Every single one of them targeted number 14, Channing Stribling. I think there was 3 consecutive passing plays where I think this lone guy allowed maybe like 45, 50 yards in three consecutive plays. Not good. Not good. And listen, we're at an information deficit. We don't know what we don't know. Okay, we don't know what his duty was in that play. But God damn it, does it not look like he's just absolutely just playing terribly? He's just doing a very, 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 very horrendously bad job at this. He's not playing physical. He's on kickoff, and he's not playing physical on kickoff. He's not covering these guys. It's not good. It is not good. And that entire drive, they didn't get anything in the run game, but when they threw the ball, they threw at Channing Stribling. They moved down the field and scored immediately. Luckily, they ended up taking him out, taking Channing Stribling out, and they ended up putting him back in. What was my note here? 14 is back in and was immediately targeted. It's not good. Like, if Luis Perez, if the guy who delusionally thinks that he can be the next Kurt Warner, if that guy can assess your lack of talent and target you specifically, we're in bad shape there. Again, I don't know what I don't know, but I know what my eyes see, and they see something real bad. So let's just not play him anymore. Another blood pact. I cut my other hand and said, let's just not do Channing Stribling anymore. Let's stop doing that. Let's make sure that it's just Brandon Sebastian and Chris Payton-Jones. Let's just have those 2 guys be the cornerbacks, just all time. Like that's all we need. Like little backyard football, all time corner. You never change. That would be good. Linebackers. I like Willie Harvey. I like Willie Harvey a lot. He plays good. I like the way that he plays. We got to talk about tackling, man. We got to talk about Willie Harvey tackling. He is missing some tackles. He is going in there. If his goal is to run by a guy and punch him in the dick, he'd do a great job. If that was his job, was to punch guys in the dick, run full speed and slug a guy right in the nards, he'd crush it if he did that. Unfortunately, his job is to tackle people, and he's not doing a good job. He missed a couple interceptions in week 1. Because he's flying by. In this game, he's flying by guys behind the line of scrimmage. Like it was actually, and this ties into Channing Stribling as well. It was on one of the Renegade, one of Arlington's point after attempts. I can't remember if they're going for 1 or 2, but they did a double, not a double pass, but Perez flipped the ball out to Tyler Vaughn, who ended up throwing across the field to their running back, who was wide open because Channing Stribling just completely neglected to, saw him run into the end zone, but did not follow him at all. So great job for you, Channing Stribling. But when Tyler Vaughn caught the ball, Willie Harvey just ran, tried to clothesline him or something like that. But he just didn't tackle him. It's things like that, and that's going to be very important in this game. This game coming up is for him to be able to wrap up. So that is, unfortunately, tackling's not a huge thing that you can fix in a week, but maybe I have more faith in Willie Harvey being good at tackling in a week than I do the offense being able to start strong and start fast in a week. So that's where I'm at with that. As far as the defensive line goes, man, that Peter Tamoipenu, that guy, he's good. He actually, there was one play, he had 2 sacks on the game, but he should have had should have had 3. I don't know what in the grasp is anymore, but he wrapped up Luis Perez. Luis Perez was actually able to throw the ball away incomplete, but it should have been a sack. It should have. He had him. He was about ready to suplex some bitch. Like he had him. It should have been 3 sacks, but he didn't. Travis Feeney and that O'Reilly fella got that sack. That was really good too. I just like the way that the defensive line played. They played good. And I think that's going to be one of the stronger parts of this defense, and they're going to need to stay strong. But that is the offense. That's the defense. Talked about that. Let's get into the awards. ReKAWp of the week. ReKAWp of the week obviously goes to the best player on the team, the player that played the best that week. I'm not going to give it to A.J. McCarron for doing quarterback things. I gave it to him once last season because he called an entire series because his mic wasn't working. So I gave him ReKAWp of the week for being a offensive coordinator there. I just burped. That was gross. But I'm not going to give it to a quarterback. ReKAWp of the week this week. Few people that it could have gone to. The Pita Tamoipenu. I love giving awards to defensive guys. Could have gone to Marcel the Shell with shoes on for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns, but it's got to go to Mateo Durant. To come off of not even dressing, to run for 104 yards behind this offensive line when we can see how bad this offensive line is. You got to give it to Mateo Durant. Bang up job, Mateo Durant. ReKAWp of the week to you, sir. ReKAWp of the week. Of the week. Of the week is a little bit more difficult because of the week could go to 2 people. Could go to Shannon Stribling for everything that I mentioned, or it could go to Anthony Becht. And not Anthony Becht for the reason the cowardly field goal. Not that. But Anthony Becht because of his stupid, dumb challenge that he did. He used his super challenge, his only challenge, on a 4th and 6 for a defensive hold on Darius Shepard. And it should have been a defensive hold, and I'm going to get to that. But it was in like the 3rd quarter or something like that. You should not use your challenge if it is not a scoring play or if it is not the 4th quarter. Those are the only 2 times that you should use it. You should want to leave the game without your challenge. That should be your goal going into a game as a head coach. You should say, I don't want to use this thing. If I have to use it in the 4th quarter, fuck it. I'll use it in the 4th quarter on a goddamn punt or some shit. Like you should not want to use it. And listen, I like in the NFL, teams have 2, now I guess it's like 3 challenges. I like a coach being able to use an angry challenge, being like, you know what, ref, I'm going to challenge this. I'm not going to win it, but I'm angry at this, and I want you to watch this again and realize what I'm angry about. I'm fine with that because you have more than one challenge. For him to do it here was such a dumb, stupid, of the week worthy move. It was so stupid. And then for the challenge itself, God damn it. There is no consistency in the way that these things are looked at. No consistency. Last week, I was flaming Dean Blandino, dumb blind dumbo, dumb blindino, Dean blind, that asshole. I hate that guy still. I hate that asshole. And I flamed him a lot last year. But this year, it was the same. This game was the same goddamn thing. It was the same goddamn thing. Mike Pereira's in there. He's like, yeah, well, if we go frame by frame, you can see that he was held. End of it. End it right there. He was held. That challenge over. Don't give it any qualifiers like if we do frame by frame. And then he's like, well, let's watch it in real time. Looks like it didn't really affect him. He was able to break free. No. It's a goddamn super challenge. It's a super challenge. Use super slow-mo. They have one of these every goddamn game. Then, if it's a goddamn challenge, you should be critiquing it to the most minute, the finest aspects of it. It was a hold. It should have... Becht should have won the challenge. It was dumb that he did it, but he should have won the challenge. And then when I was rewatching this stupid fucking Brahma Showboat game, there's no consistency because the Showboats challenge to play, a guy caught the ball, went down to the ground, got up, and ran for like 10 more yards. On the Brahmas. The Brahmas guy caught the ball, went down, went 10 more yards. And then the Showboat guy, John DiFilippo, their head coach, challenged saying, I think that guy got touched. And then they went and they did super slow-mo to see that he got touched. When in real time, you couldn't see that he got touched. You're gonna go super slow-mo for this? You're not gonna go super slow-mo for this? Where the fuck is the consistency, guys? What the hell are we doing with this shit? Why can we not do any? Why? It's a motherfucking super challenge. If you're not gonna do slow-mo for some of them, just call it everything challenge. Don't call it a name like that, you dumbass. It was very frustrating the way that this is happening. Collect myself. Deep breath. Anthony Becht was really dumb for using that challenge there, though. Only use it in the third and fourth quarter, or only use it in the fourth quarter and on scoring plays. Any other play that you're using it is stupid. We can come back from a turnover on downs on their side of the field. We can do that. Don't do it there, you moron. Given all of that, the week still goes to Channing Stribling. It was really bad, man. It was just that bad. Next award, Coward of the Week. Becht, you son of a bitch. Big Tone, you're not out of the woods yet. Coward of the Week goes to you for the cowardly field goal. That was so weak. And he didn't even hesitate to go for a field goal. Or he didn't even hesitate calling a field goal. Like, as soon as it was fourth down, he's like, field goal, kick it. And then he got on the microphone and he says, do we have a play for this? And you could hear Bruce Gradkowski go, fuck yeah. Then do that. You just went out of your way last week defending your reason for going for 1 rather than 3 by saying that Bruce had a play. His best play was a play that can get him 2 yards. I'm not a mathematician. You guys, I'm not a mathematician. You saw me do math earlier. Not a mathematician. But I would say that 6 inches is less than 2 yards. I would say that. That's what I would say. 6 inches is less than 2 yards. If you have a play that can get you 2 yards, you have a play that can get you 6 inches pretty easily. You actually probably have multiple plays that get you 6 inches. That's not hard. I know what 6 inches looks like. I know what 5.5 inches looks like. And 6 is not much bigger than that. So yeah, Coward of the Week for that cowardly field goal. New award, Broadcast of the Week. Broadcast of the Week. All right. I'm going to change my voice here. This is the broadcast. This is the broadcast team that we had for this game. We had Mike Monaco, Sam Acho, Cole Kubelik, and Stormy Bonantoni. That is an all-star name. Like, names, that's great names. They're not good, like very good at their job, but great names. Great name crew. Great name crew. At one point, I don't know why we haven't learned our lesson. If you remember last year, one of the sideline reporters walked up to Brandon Sebastian and asked him about his tattoo that he has on his arm of a person. And he brought up that it's his dead brother. And it really seemed like she probably already knew that already. And this game, Stormy Bonantoni goes up to Davion Smith, the running back for the Renegades, and asks why he's playing. And she knew the answer. And it was because his brother died on Wednesday, and the game was on Saturday. And stop bringing up dead family, guys. Come on. Yeah, great story. Congratulations. You got a great story. Did we need it? No, we didn't need it. Quit bringing up dead people, fellas. What are we doing? What are we, like, the guys, like, Davion Smith is like about ready to cry on the sideline. He actually said, he's like, yeah, I was about ready to cry on the field, but I'm going to wait to get into the locker room for that. If we don't win this game, it's going to feel like it was incomplete. It's like, I know how the game ends, and he doesn't win. Oh, it's brutal. Why are we doing that? Why the fuck did we do that? Why do we do that? Why? Why did we ask him about his dead brother? You brought down bad vibes, man. Maybe that's why they lost, because bad vibes everywhere on that sideline. Don't bring up dead brother. So yeah, broadcast of the week goes to those 4. That was Mike Monaco, Sam Acho, Cole Kubelik, and Stormy Bonantoni. Great names. Great. That could be Fantastic Four worthy names. But that's our awards. Let's go into the Bird's Eye preview for next week. Bird's Eye preview. All right, so on Sunday, Battlehawks are going down to San Antonio to play the Brahmas at 2 p.m. Central Time. The Brahmas are 2-0. They're undefeated. The Brahmas, okay, I don't know how you say this. So I went and looked at like I go and look at all like the stats for the entire league. And one thing that stood out to me, so I don't know how you say this. The Battlehawks are either in first or last with penalties. They've only had 5. They have had the fewest penalties in the entire UFL. 5 penalties for something like 60 yards. It's totally fine. The Brahmas Not bullshitting. 21 penalties for 212 yards in 2 games. And they are 2-0. That is crazy that they're able to do that. The fact that they're able to win 10.5 penalties a game. And in this game, the game last week against the Showboats, they had 14 penalties and they won. They were shut out until the fourth quarter, but they fucking won. That's crazy. You shouldn't be allowed to have 21 penalties and win games. And they're not all offensive or offsides, encroachment holdings. There's 5 personal fouls. There's 5 personal fouls. There's roughing the passers. There's defensive pass interferences. They're bad, but there's guys punching other guys. It's like they don't even. They don't even know that there are rules. They're just like, fuck it, I'll do whatever the hell I want. Don't hit the quarterback high. What if I jump into his face and throw my bicep into his face mask after he throws it? Like, what are you doing? Oh, they're really bad at that. They're really bad at the penalties. But they are 2-0, and that's a fact, which is really crazy. As far as their quarterback goes, it's a dude. Why can't I remember his name off the top of my head? His name is, what the hell? Oh, it's because I'm on defense. His name is Chase Gabers. He's fine. He's not bad. He in that game he threw the ball like 40 times. He threw the ball 40 times, 29 for 40, 287 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. It was a bad interception too, which could be something to look forward to. But he really only the offense is going to run through him, which is not a hard thing to say since he's a quarterback. But as far like they don't really have a running game. They only had 36 rushing yards in that game, and 20 of them were from Gabers. The guy can run. He doesn't run that much. I think that he's going to run a lot this weekend. We saw it in week 1 with EJ Perry, can't remember, EJ Perry, running up and down. We saw it last week with Lindsey Scott running on this defense. Gabers has the potential to be able to be that kind of a guy. He's not super duper like fast or anything like that, but he's going to be able to get some yards. We're not talking like 15-yard gains. We're not talking like 2-yard gains. We're talking somewhere in the middle, probably closer to like I would say somewhere 8 to 10 yards. He'll be able to pick those kinds of things up. So that is scary. But he is a little bit finicky in the pocket. He moves around a lot, but he's kind of smart. He didn't have of all those penalties. None of them were what's that called? The intentional grounding. None of them were that. But he does throw the ball away, but he's smart when he does it, which is kind of a bummer. But he does pull his eyes from downfield when he starts feeling pressure, and he feels a lot of pressure because his offensive line's not that good in pass protection. They're fine. They're not like brutal or anything like that, but they do allow him to feel some pressure, whether it be actual pressure or phantom pressure. But he does move around. He is kind of squirrely back there. Not the most accurate guy in the world. He really just has these 3 receivers. Not really. He just has Cody Latimer, Javante Kirkland, and a guy I can't remember his first name, Stevenson. Those are the 3 guys that he targets. That's it. The offense is going to be Gabers, Cody. What did I say? Cody Latimer, Kirkland, and Stevenson. Latimer, Kirkland, Stevenson, and Gabers. That's how this offense is going to go, because those guys are good. Those receivers they're good. They get space. They're able to get yak. They got good hands. And when Latimer puts the ball on, or when Gabers puts the ball on them, they're able to catch it and actually do some stuff with it. Again, this offense, with my eyes, I've seen their floor, and their floor is terrible. They had 14 total yards on offense in the first half of their game last week, but they ended up scoring 20 points in the fourth quarter. They can be explosive, and they will be explosive if they're given the opportunity to. And that's kind of where the trouble is. it's going to put a lot of pressure on the safeties, a lot of pressure on the corners. I think the linebackers and the defensive line will be able to kind of hold their own. It's going to be on them to make sure that Gabers isn't able to get clean throws and stuff like that. Keep him on the move. But it's going to be a tough going defending the passing game. I don't think that we're going to get another 14 total yards in the first half against this Battlehawks defense. But the possibility is there because they just did it. Their floor is really low. Their ceiling is 20 points. Fuck, they scored 12 points in 1 minute. Like they can be explosive. The key here for this defense, in order to really limit this offense, is take advantage of those penalties. Make sure if you get them behind the 8 ball, make sure they're behind schedule is the way to say it. You got to take advantage of that. You got to take advantage of that. You got to get those Pita Tamapenu, the pass rushes, those effective and clutch pass rushes. Whenever you get them in a second and long, turn it into a third and long, or a third and long, turn it into a punt. You got to be able to do that. As far as their punter goes, their punter's good. He's able to pin deep. He's the guy, and he's an athlete too. He's the one that in week 1, you probably saw this online. He threw a touchdown pass on a fake punt, or was it a field goal? I think it was a fake punt to their center, which is psychotic. But he can do that kind of stuff. They're willing to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think the defense, it's going to be, the pressure in this game is going to be on safeties, because they're going to be willing to take those deep shots. As far as their defense goes, their head coach is Wade Phillips, been head coach for 55 years, defensive guy. Defense is kind of weird because they win schematically. They disguise everything. Their pressures. You don't know where guys are going to be coming from. They can have 6 guys line up on the line of scrimmage and then drop 2 of them, drop 1 of them, drop nobody. Like they are more than willing, not more than willing. They do that. That's what they do. They disguise their coverages. I don't necessarily know. I didn't. Maybe a handful of times I saw safeties rotate in coverage and stuff like that. But really, it's kind of just guys moving before the ball, or before the snap, after the snap. What was the Showboats quarterback? Case Cookham, I think, or something like that. Cade Cookham, Cade Cookus. Was a Showboats quarterback. He's not as smart as A.J. McCarron. A.J. McCarron's able to process things a lot better and a lot quicker. It's going to be on A.J. to be able to process stuff while he's having these pressures come into play. And he's also going to have to be able to process the pressures, because I don't necessarily trust this offensive line to be able to call out the right protections when they're having guys when they don't know where they're going to be coming from. It's going to be a lot of this game. A.J.'s going to have a headache. He's going to have a headache after this game, and that's going to be from his brain hurting from thinking, and then also from just getting roughed after he throws the ball, because these guys don't understand the rules of football. But he's going to have to do a lot of thinking. He's probably going to have to call out some protections as well. He's going to have another really good hot mic day. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of dog cussing he comes up with this time. But he's going to have a lot on his plate. He's going to have to be able to diagnose what's happening in coverages, diagnose where people are coming from. It's going to be a tough day for him. It's going to be a real tough day for this offensive line. But on the flip side of that, these defensive backs, they're not. I say that this team wins on scheme. It's because the defensive backs are not really good. They win because they're in the right spot, but they can be thrown on. There's going to be stuff that's open underneath. There's going to be stuff that's open along the sidelines, intermediate along the sidelines. They have guys that are in the right spot, but the Battlehawks, Marcel Deschel, Hakeem Butler, Darius Shepard, they're going to be able to use their tools that they have. Shepard's shiftiness, Hakeem Butler and Marcel Amon's size and speed, they're going to be able to use those things to beat these guys who are much less talented than them. So that is kind of the plus side for this. It just comes down to whether or not A.J. McCarron can actually get the ball out on time and deliver it in the right spot for him, which I think that he can. I don't know how consistently he's going to be able to do it, because it's not just him, it's also the offensive line blocking for him. But I think there is a possibility for him to be able to do that. So that is kind of a good thing there. They're really good against, really good at stopping the run. They're big and stout. They get a lot. They get in the backfield real quickly. Real quickly. I don't think that Mateo Durant's going to have another 100-yard game in him. I think that this offensive line's going to have a worse. They had a step up. They had a step up last week. I think they might take a step back this week. So that's kind of a bummer. Was there anything else that I had about that defense? Let's see. I talked about their ability for the passing game can be exposed if we have time. The running game, they're good against that. Yeah, I can't think of any much more going on for that defense. It's just tricky. It's fun to watch. Like watching that game with them on defense was fun because it wasn't happening to us. When it does happen to us, it's going to be much less fun, much less fun, much more frustrating. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Let's actually get a tight end involved. How about we do that? If I had a third hand, I'd blood pack that one too. But I think that's everything for that bird's eye preview. Prediction. I don't think the Battlehawks are going to win this game. I do not think that's going to happen. If they do win it, it's going to be them having to take advantage of the penalties that the Brahmas are inevitably going to produce a abhorrent amount of. But they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to be aggressive. Bruce Gradkowski, not necessarily an aggressive guy. Anthony Becht, a coward. So that's going to be tough. But as far as prediction goes, I don't think the Battlehawks are going to win. I want to say, man, scores are hard to predict in this league. I want to say I think the Brahmas get it done with 27 points. And I think the Battlehawks keep it close. Brahmas 27, Battlehawks 22. That's what I'm going with. I don't think that they're going to get it done. The Battlehawks are going to have to be explosive in order to put up those points. If they can do that with any kind of consistency and out-explosive the Brahmas offense, which is the way that they're going to play the game, take those big shots, that would be the way that the Battlehawks win. But I just don't see them being able to keep up with a Brahmas offense who can be good or really, really pathetic. But who can somehow overcome 212 yards of penalties in 2 games. I don't see them being able to keep up with that, especially with the defense that the Brahmas are going to throw at them. So that's where I'm at. I don't like saying it. I don't like saying that I think the Battlehawks are going to lose, but I do think they are going to lose. So yeah, that's what we got. That has been solid. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Again, I got the YouTubes. I got the Spotifys. I got the Apples. Wherever you're doing it, if you want to do something else, if you want to look at my face while I'm talking, you got that option. If you want to stop looking at my face, you got that option as well. We got all this going on. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me. Again, the game is at 2 o'clock on Sunday on ABC and ESPN, not on Fox this time. So you can watch it there. I got to leave town pretty quickly after that game's over, so I am going to do a reaction right after the game. It's probably going to be a shorter one, but I'll be able to get that out there for you guys. But yeah, go Battlehawks, ReKAWp, go Iron Birds. We know, baby. That's what it's what we do. Catch you later.